The Seattle Mariners for a very long time were losers. They had an awful playoff drought starting from 2002 and ending in 2022. You could tell from that time frame that Mariners fans didn't feel very lucky to be a Mariner fan during that very long drought. But when it ended in 2022, it was a miracle, and not just for Mariners fans, but for the fans of baseball. They built a team from the ground up, with pretty much all the players on the team being likable. The best thing about the team was for sure the pitching staff. It had some holes in the bullpen, but overall it had the right guys. The starting rotation, on the other hand, was on Mars. From the likes of a young arm and Logan Gilbert, who was emerging as one of the top guys in the entire league, to another guy and another young stud who is no other than George Kirby. From July all the way to the end of the postseason, Kirby was electric. In result of the two young arms and several other veterans, this team was able to be an unbelievable pitching staff in 2022, earning themselves the number 8 spot in ERA. Now, as great as the team was, it lacked offense. The homers were there and even the walks were a little bit, but they had the 14th ranked OPS as a team in 2022, which is right around middle of the pack, but the offense in total just wasn't awesome. The getting the ball on the bat part was really the worst part. It was a big struggle for the Mariners as they had the 27th worst batting average in the entire MLB in 2022. Now, I'm not a guy who typically looks at the average, and, I don't consider it to be very important, but when it's that bad, you have to care. The offense needed more star power, and they knew that going into 2023. They began with extensions for the future. The biggest one being superstar Julio Rodriguez, the best player on the team, got extended going into the 2030s. Mariners fans are absolutely hyped for the future of J-Rod, and being able to have a player like that for a whole decade, being able to watch one of the best players in the entire sport, I mean, they're excited, and I'm excited to be able to watch the guy in Seattle. Looking outside of J-Rod, other players that are under control or under contract going into 2026 include Cal Riley, George Kirby, Ty France, Logan Gilbert, and many more of that core as well. It's safe to say that they're in a very good spot right now and the future, but again, they needed more in 2023. So what did they do for the offense? Well, some of the players who had poor bats actually ended up leaving the team in free agency, which I think has been a pretty big thing for them. But overall, they actually didn't end up doing much. They brought in Teoscar Hernandez, who I will say has been a little bit disappointing for Seattle. Right, a 242 average, 17 homers, and a 699 OPS. I value OPS probably more than about anything. I will say it needs to get up. The defense, on the other hand, has kind of been everywhere, right? I think at times he's actually not been too bad, but at other times, it just simply hasn't been great to watch. Well, he's been a disappointment throughout the year. His bat has picked it up since the trade deadline, so that might be something for Mariners fans to go ahead and look out for. You just really gotta hope that he could go ahead and continue that spark and doesn't end up letting it die down. Outside of Teoscar, they brought in Colton Wong, who got DFA'd recently, so nothing really big happened in the free agency side of things. So how has the offense actually fared up in 2023? Well, they're 14th in runs scored, so it hasn't been brutal, but as we know, with teams that hit a ton of homers with 0 batting average, the Yankees, they struggle to stay consistent. And that's pretty much been the Mariners in 2023. Another reinforcement for the Mariners, though, has been Cade Marlowe. Marlowe has been very good in the very little that he's played so far in 2023. Again, very little. It's only been 40 at-bats, but he's looked very good. We need a much bigger sample size from Marlowe, but he has a 313 average right now with a 921 OPS to go along, of course, with 15 hits. So, I mean, you just gotta really hope that, again, this isn't just a one-hit wonder situation. You gotta hope that he could have a consistent career and maybe a nice future. He's 26 years old, and this is his first year up in the big leagues. He was drafted in 2019, and with such an inconsistent offense with the Mariners, you just gotta hope that Marlowe can be that guy. Now, you may wonder, with a middle-of-the-pack offense, how have they been managing to win all of those games? Well, it's been the pitching, and as I said, their pitching showed all the potential in the world in 2022. And in 2023, it has taken off from Earth and is now at the moon because they have the best ERA as a team in all of baseball in 2023, and I don't see it slowing down either. Well, I don't think that they will really get anywhere in 2023 as far as the postseason goes. They might have a wild card spot by the end of the year, but I wouldn't really bank on it. But it could happen with how hot that this team has been since the trade deadline, since July or so. But I'd call it a long shot still. I think though overall, if this team makes a few more moves in the 2024 offseason, they could be ready to contend. And not just contend, but they could be one of the best teams in the entire league. Now looking into the farm system, it's actually pretty good with a few guys that I'm very excited with. Many of them though are in the very low levels of the system, so more so I'm just pointing that out to go ahead and let you guys know that the future looks nice, but as far as the farm system being effective in 2024, don't bank on it. Therefore, I do think it also adds on to the topic that the Mariners should add to this offense a lot in free agency. I think there's a few guys that Mariners fans would want, and obviously, Shohei Ohtani is number one in all of that conversation. Will he actually come to Seattle? I mean, probably the sliverest of the slim chances that he does come to Seattle. But then again, if he was willing to come ahead and play with the Angels, I mean, I'm sure that he would be willing to come out into the great place of Seattle with die-hard fans and an awesome city with an owner that is willing to spend money. Anyways, realistically, I wouldn't be shocked to see Matt Chapman getting into the more realistic side of things. Matt Chapman could make some sense, who would automatically bring a big boost on not only the defense, but also a guy with a very, very good bat at times, right? He could be dominant. He's a very, I guess, streaky player is the best way to put it. But again, I wouldn't be shocked to see him in a Mariners uniform. Another guy I would really like to see in a Mariners uniform is Rhys Hoskins from the Phillies. The defense is known to not be his biggest strong suit at all, so he'd likely be moved into that DH spot. He's been injured all of 2023, but in 2022 was super clutch for the Phillies in that playoff run, and was also very important in the regular season. He's a guy who produces not only getting on base, but also the homers, right? So I would be all for him joining that team in 2024. The last guy that I'll go ahead and get into is Gurriel Jr. coming over from the Diamondbacks, a 29-year-old who can help you win instantly with a bat that will click into the lineup like no tomorrow. He has 19 homers so far in 2023 with a 258 batting average and 779 as his OPS. Unfortunately for the Mariners, contact hitters aren't really there in this free agency class, so I also do believe that trade is going to be very, very big for the Mariners. I think if you go ahead and maybe trade rather than just take the free agency side of things, that it could really work. Anyways, I love this Mariners team, and I'm very excited for what the future holds. To all the Mariners fans who have been watching and showing love on the videos, I appreciate all you guys. You guys have been asking for a video and have been staying consistent in the comment section. Again, wanted to go ahead and thank you guys. And to all of you guys,